Good morning. I'm Todd Shapiro, President and CEO of the Illinois CPA Society. And this morning, I'm happy to be joined by our incoming chair, Mary Fuller, who is the actually managing partner of Shepard Schwartz Harris. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Todd. It's my pleasure to be here this morning and get to speak with you and the members. And I'm just very happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. So, continuing what we've done in the last couple of years, we do a conversation with our incoming chair as a way for our members to get to know the chair, a little bit about the chair, what's important to them, what they think. So why don't we start off by talking a little bit about, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got to where you got to.
I am a graduate of UIC. When I went to school, I actually was working for a couple of different firms, under doing accounting work, which I really loved. And shortly after graduation, I decided I needed to get that 1 year of experience in public accounting because I really, really wanted to be a CPA. So I went to Shepard Schwartz Harris. Now, in the meantime, I do have a personal life as well. I met my husband in college, and we were married just shortly after I'd started at Shepard Schwartz Harris. I have 2 children. Both of them are married. So I've been with the firm for a long time, probably longer than most of the people that are here in this room or listening to the video are of age. I have done a lot of different things during my career, and I just really like what I do.
How did you end up pursuing accounting?
I took accounting in high school, and I was always good with math. Word problems, my kids laugh at me because they're like, "Mom, really, word problems?" And I said, life is a big word problem. It's something you solve, you try to come up with a solution, and there may not be the same answer all the time, but I really enjoyed that. My dad actually had recommended going into accounting. When I was in college, I had met a couple of individuals. They'd introduced me to somebody that was looking for someone in their accounting department, and that exposed me to real life experience where I was able to practice what I was learning in school. From then, I met a couple other individuals who got me a job in real estate. So I was working for one of the bigger Chicago property management companies and went in there, and I was doing some accounting work for some of the properties. And because I was still going to school, they assigned me to special projects. And the special projects included when they were buying and selling properties. So I got ingrained into not just the debits and the credits of accounting, but also some of the consulting aspects and helping clients in other areas.
So that led you down the path, and you've been with Shepard Schwartz Harris
pretty much my entire career. I celebrated my 40th anniversary last year. And, I think about people ask me, why have you stayed there so long? Because this is not what happens today in today's world. And, I was always given opportunities. And when I was given opportunities, there were times where I was like, oh, I just don't have the time. I was raising kids, and I decided to take it. I was encouraged to do it and try it. And a lot of it was consulting. A lot of it was going out to clients. They needed help with, buying or selling something. Working on analysis with them, working with a team of brokers. I do a lot of work in real estate. And so that's where I get involved in those kind of aspects with clients, but it was never dull. Yeah, there was compliance. You had to do some of the compliance, but there was always something out there. And, I tell our staff people, I said, raise your hand. When something comes up, you hear about something, raise your hand, say, I want to try that. Because it's helping build the tools, putting tools in their toolbox so they can be successful and more than just doing tax returns and financial statements.
So you have 2 kids you mentioned.
Yes.
And you have built a very successful career as managing partner. And I know that was part of how you stayed there. And you mentioned, somebody said, give it a chance. Talk a little more about when you say give it a chance. Mm-hmm. There were times where obviously you were growing through the firm and also growing in your personal side. And how did you balance those two?
You definitely need a great support system. I will tell you that. When my children were younger, I had to have the comfort and confidence that somebody was taking care of them while I was at work. I was one of the first people to work a part-time or flex-time arrangement within the firm. That was definitely unheard of in my day. You know, it was if you were on track to to move up within the profession, you were working full time all the time. And after I'd had my first daughter, I asked if I could come back on a flex arrangement. Again, this is 38 years ago, and that was unheard of. And I was given the opportunity, thanks to one of my mentors. One of my managers told the managing partner, a part-time Mary is better than a no-time Mary. So when you think about today, and I always keep that in the back of my mind with our people in our office, because there's a lot of great talent out there. And sometimes they have different situations in their life. They're either raising their kids. And, you know, people look at the pandemic created a whole lot of things for individuals these past 2 years, you know, where they're reevaluating the way they look at, you know, how they work, when they work, where they work. And I think it's very important to have this kind of an attitude of, hey, at least we can get a part of you. We can get a part of you. And we want you to grow in this profession, or at least develop tools and skills that you can use somewhere else. But that's what my philosophy usually is.
So you've talked about that change and sort of being a little bit of a trailblazer there.
Yeah.
So Shepard Schwartz Harris, I don't know if all of our members will know what Shepard Schwartz Harris is, the size of the firm, because obviously, you know, we have firms of all different sizes. Tell us just a couple minutes about Shepard Schwartz Harris.
Okay. Shepard Schwartz Harris, we are a firm, we've been around for 87 years. I am the third generation of management or leaders within the organization. We do a lot of work with privately held companies and high net worth individuals. That has been what our goal has been throughout most of the life of the business. We are known for our work and our niche in real estate. We also do other work in terms of some privately held companies and some distribution and manufacturing, professional services, but real estate is our big niche in all different areas. And that has helped the firm stand out. You know, people come to us because of our expertise in that particular area. Individuals that work for us, we train them on some of the basics, you know, what they need to know, but then give them opportunities to be able to assist clients in all different ways.
So you serve as the managing partner.
Yes.
Actually, I know it's a co-managing
Yes,
partner
we have a
role.
Co-managing partner role.
Which is always interesting.
Mhm.
And actually, you could talk a little bit about how that works.
Okay.
And so talk a little how it works in co-managing partners, because that's, you know, in some cases, you know, most firms don't have co-managing partners, some do. How does that work, and how do you see your role? Because managing partner is a generic term, and every managing partner probably sees themselves in a different role. Mm-hmm. So how does it work with a co, and how do you see what is your primary role and responsibility as a managing partner?
I co-manage with Stan Lazar. I want to say we grew up together at the firm. Both of us have been with the firm for a long time. We never worked together, which is interesting, because when the opportunity came up for managing partners, you know, we're probably the most polar opposites you've ever seen, but it works because you have two people with the exact same demeanors, the exact same experiences. You're just cloning. It's the same person duplicating. I would say from our roles, I am more the people, our employees, operations, the face of the firm. I'm the one that gets out there and I'll talk to individuals. Stan is definitely a visionary. He will come up with ideas and we kind of vet them out together to see, okay, is this doable or not? And with us and our other partners, I feel we've done a great job. We've done a great job with the firm.
So people.
People.
I think you've mentioned people twice now in this short period of time. I know people are really important to you, and you've talked about problem solving and really connecting with people and managing people is pretty near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, you know, my whole career, I remember our predecessors. They would say, you know, Mary, why do you get so emotional about the individuals that work here? because you can't do your job without people. You cannot work with clients. You cannot advise clients. You cannot grow a business unless you have people. I truly care about them, like almost to the point of fault. I want them to be successful. I want every person that has come into our office to be successful, even if they don't stay, no matter where they go. I keep in touch with alumni, and not because I'm hoping they come back, even though that would be nice, but you never know. I enjoy when I see they're successful in their careers, whether they're, CEOs of companies or controllers of companies or whatever. I'm very happy about what they're doing. And I want them to be successful. A wise person told me once, you want to develop the tools in your toolbox. And I always look at it like that. There's always opportunities no matter what you do. And I truly believe that with our young people. I believe that there's something out there. The world it's changing so much in our profession. We talk about compliance and what you have to do. That's going to always be out there. Compliance is always going to be out there. But it's the communication that someone has with individuals and the way they feel, whether you're talking to a client or you're talking to the people that are working for you, or you're talking to centers of influence, whatever. You have to have a genuine concern, way you're going to speak with them, what you're going to speak to them about, and listen. Listen to what they're saying, because that's very important.
We have been through 2 years, and we're coming up on 2 years now, of probably some of the most challenging management times in our life. I refer to the last 2 years as the greatest management experiment of all time that no one really was ready to do, and we didn't voluntarily jump into this experiment. So how was managing people, because you are so passionate, it's obvious, you can feel the passion towards people. How's it been during the last 2 years? What have you had to do differently? How have you changed? And is the world, everyone talks about the new frontier, the great rescue. Is it that different? Is it not that different? So I threw a lot at you, so jump off.
The past 2 years, or almost 2 years, it has definitely been a challenge. One of the things, I have a positive attitude about things. I'll make lemonade out of lemons. And I will tell you, it was rough. We closed our office March 20th. I will remember that day because it's my anniversary, my wedding anniversary. And we had to send everybody home. We're a firm of 85 people, and it was just, what do you do? The city was going to close. So we send everybody home. But prior to that, I had spoke with my head of IT, and I said, listen, if I'm going to close this office, are we going to be able to operate remotely? And, IT person, he says, of course we can. Of course we can. We did it during the polar vortex. And I was like, okay, this is longer than the polar vortex. We have to get everyone out of there. We were very successful. IT jumped in. They created some terminal servers. We got everybody out of the office safely. So now you're dealing with the emotional part. People were scared. People were really, really scared, not knowing what to do. So they were going through not only I have to get this work done, it's tax season, it's the middle of March, but they were trying to figure out how do they deal with this personally, because now they're just picking up and having to figure out a new way to work. Now, we were working remotely, but it was a few people wanted to. Everyone was coming in the office. So now we had a period of time, no one came in the office at all. So it's a highlight of a few of our partners. We showed up because we lived close. And we were called undercover bosses. We were doing everything from opening mail that was coming in. People were okay checking in with our employees to see that they were okay. They were just okay. There was no book. There was no book telling us what to do, how to manage in this kind of area. A lot of resources. A lot of other managing partners all got together. We would meet on a regular basis, whether it be virtual, well, it was virtual, and just talk about, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So at least there was some sort of a consistency, and you had a little bit of a think tank to help you figure out what to do. 2 years later, I mean, we still have people that work remote, and it's okay. It's okay. We have a lot of young people that have started that we're asking them to come into our offices because we want them to have an experience in terms of the culture and building a community. And yeah, sometimes it's easier to train someone when you're sitting next to them. And plus, they hear phone conversations where you can bring them into a Zoom meeting or whatever, but you get a little bit of, it's tough being on a computer all day long and then having to connect to meetings that way. You don't get the same feel of sitting next to somebody like I get to sit next to you right now and, read body language and just develop all the different skills that you may not from your bedroom or from a desk in your house.
So a lot of, obviously, I don't know very few firms, and it does seem to be different geographically even, whether people are having their staff come in the office. You mentioned you have young staff, some of your newer staff come in the office. You touched a little bit on, I sort of sense some challenges of, some of the challenges of somebody who's 100% remote. The thought of employees saying, if you make me come in every day, I'm going to quit. I'm not sure if some of that's not just our own internal fear that we have not necessarily confirmed with people, but internalized it. How are you dealing with some of the challenges of trying to move people along? Is it whatever everybody wants to do? Is it sort of leadership on your part? Leadership is not easy.
No, it's not. As to coming in or not coming in, people need a reason. You can't just tell them, I want you to come in the office because I don't believe that you're not working, because it's not true. They are working. Some better than others. There needs to be a reason. Talk to them. We've talked to someone and said, we've got some partners that they really want you to be there. You help energize them whenever they're doing things. They've got a client that they want to introduce you to that happens to be coming to our office or meeting somewhere. They want you to hear how they think, because they're talking about a project. And sometimes some of the partners just aren't as good with technology as these young people are. And, putting on a camera and trying to figure out how to communicate with someone and sharing screens. And now I'm aging myself, but those are the kinds of things that happen in the real world. But working remotely, I don't mind when staff want to work remotely, but there's times it's nice for them to come in, meet with the team, meet with the group, because there's only so much you can do on a computer where you feel a connection. And you don't want them to lose out on opportunities that maybe you're not even thinking about giving them, but they overhear a conversation and they're like, hey, I'd like to do that.
What I hear is intentionality.
Yes.
And that's important from your perspective, I assume.
It's very important. Very important.
So let's think about next year. You're going to be chair. If you had to tell our members obviously people is most important. What advice, what thoughts would you share over sort of that you really would love? What do you think you want to talk about during the upcoming year?
Some of the things with the people, what I've observed, especially the last few years, is, it's tough. There's a whole emotional impact on individuals with working and, how they're feeling, because they're juggling all different kinds of things, no different than I did in my career, but it's a little different. Everything's moving faster. So my passion would be the people, how they connect with others, how they're learning new different things, and just how they feel about, everything in general. Is there balance for them? Is there balance with their personal life, with their work life? Are they kind of getting everything that they need, the picture, and trying to help them that way?
You just said the word balance. Our profession has talked about balance. I've been with the society for 23 years. And our profession has been talking about balance for 23 years. Yeah. And I think I'm pretty darn sure it preceded my coming here in 1998. Are we getting there? How do we really get there? How do we get the older people in our profession to start thinking we've got to think differently? Because it's all about realization
Yeah.
and dollars.
Yeah.
And by the way, the more people work as a partner, the more money I make.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, our profession really needs to rethink about this because, there's a war on talent. There was the Great Resignation. People are leaving our profession because they just aren't going to work the way we do. So we either have to rethink about the way we're going to work with individuals, or we're going to lose people. Now, compliance, yeah, we can use bots and we can use AI and we can use technology. We can use outsourcing internationally to do some of the compliance work that we have, but there's still that human touch with our clients. And I'm talking about the experiences that clients are no different than us. They need help. They want someone to think strategically. They want someone to help them run their businesses. And I'm not saying running day-to-day operations, but like, what should they be thinking about? That's why they come to us. And so we're going to have to change the way we work and accept the way the young people that are coming up in this profession, what they're looking for. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for something different. They do not want to do the same thing we did. Thousands and thousands of tax returns or thousands and thousands of audits, the same things over and over again. They want a little bit of a challenge.
And that's not wrong.
No,
that's the way of the world.
Yeah.
And if we want to compete for talent, we're going to have to do that.
Right.
So if I ask you to forward think,
Mhm.
just as we think about this and begin to wrap up, 3 or 4 years from now, 5 years from now, your chair will hopefully set the table for the plan. What's the most important thing for firms to think about as they prepare to be ready for that future world? Whether it's technology, because a lot of firms say, "Oh, I've heard this." Some of that AI you just mentioned. You just mentioned two, very, very hot flash topics:
Mhm.
AI and bots.
Mhm.
Well, I've had people say, "My clients will never use that AI and bots. I don't need to worry about AI and bots. We hear about that all the time. Blah blah blah." Help us share your thoughts, because I know you want Shepard Schwartz Harris to continue to be a leader going forward. What as we think about 3 to 4 to 5 years out, what should our profession start doing today to be ready for that 3 to 4 or 5 years out?
As it relates to AI and bots, we're almost going to have to do something like that because we're not going to have the people to be able to. And we're young, like I said, young people, they don't want to do consistent, just plugging in numbers in a computer and a tax return. They want to be able to be critical thinkers and they want to do exciting projects. So we need to look forward to being able to teach them how to be critical thinkers, how to be able to be strategic, how to be able to be consultants, because that's where I see our profession going.
Embrace it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's been wonderful talking with you. Anything you want to share before we're done?
I just want to say it truly is my honor and pleasure to serve as chair of the Illinois CPA Society. I look forward to meeting members in person during town halls or at the summit. And again, thank you, Todd. I look forward also to spending time with you this year. So
I would say the same here. So thank you very much. And we look forward to see everybody, as Mary said, at the summit and the town halls, and we'll be out and about. So thank you very much for joining us this morning.
thanks.